I don't really know too many artists in Toronto. Like when I hear a record, half the time I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm hearing new records from people, but I don't know who they are. You know what I mean? Because I don't really check for artists like that.
Yo, Vegas. Yo, who in Toronto stands out to you? Like who that you fuck with, like music wise?
Right now, Pressa has a 6-song called Product or something.
Okay, besides Presso already been made it.
Yeah, like no somebody.
Like,
that
so
No,
Someone-
he hasn't. No, he hasn't. What do you mean by made it?
Okay, put it this way. He's done way bigger things than the rest, we'll say.
Yeah, but he still hasn't made it. He still hasn't has a hit record that spans a worldwide audience.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't like that. When you say make it, I think Tory Lanez, I think Drake, I think Weeknd, I think Justin Bieber. Those guys made it. Those guys have hit songs international hit songs that people love and respect. And you know what I'm saying? Pressa doesn't have that. So he's still a part of the artist from our city that still needs to find that. If you want to be an artist that wants to be Drake level or Tory level. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even Nav, I would say, made it.
Yeah, Nav's. I listened to Nav's newest record he put out.
I wasn't really fucking with it. Like,
I liked
if
it.
we go back a few projects,
That's his lane. I feel like that's his lane. You know.
like, yo, the project he did where Weezy produced the whole thing, I was fucking with that.
The last 2 projects he came out with, or 3. I think it's the third one. Yeah, I think it wasn't this one. It wasn't the one before. It was one before that.
Was it like Something Warning or something?
Yeah,
That's the one produced by Weezy.
Okay, that one was really good.
Yo, the beats were all hard on that.
Yeah, that one was really good. Really good.
Like Thug Gunna, Baby was on that. Pretty much like, it was basically like a YSL album almost.
Pretty much.
That was Slime Nav.
Yeah, pretty
Exactly. That's when Nav was working with all the Atlanta guys, and you can
Right.
hear.
much. His flow and stuff.
Yeah, you can hear the influence. You can see that he's working with these guys. This guy was on records with Travis Scott and all sorts of stuff. Like how could we not say he never made it? He made it. You know what I'm saying?
He definitely made it.
Now, like otherwise than that, from the city, like I said, from what I hear, there's a lot of great talent.
What about Belly?
Belly,
XO. It's my guy.
Belly,
dope.
yeah, Belly made it.
Belly's dope.
I think Belly made it for the fact that he was able to go on Sway's platform and do his thuggy.
Oh, he did a dirty freestyle, no?
Exactly. So like
His
he's
pen
in
is
the
better
spaces.
than all those guys you named.
Yeah,
All those guys.
he's in the spaces that these guys need to be.
Yeah.
I feel like the next up I would say is like Sad Boy. If she continues her little pace, she can be one to blow. She makes great music.
Yeah, her first EP, I had that on repeat. Like, I was telling everyone, like, yo, she's a breath of fresh air right now.
What type of what's her style?
Can't
Damn,
really call it.
yeah, you can't really call it a
Like-
style, really.
Like,
Oh,
if there is someone else,
Yes, alternative
Poppy?
urban. Like it's pop, but it still has this grunge. Like I remember when the first song I heard was like a UK style grime hip hop record.
Okay.
You know, like it reminded me of that type of music, and it
but
was
with like a Brazil funk type of
yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
Like, I don't know which producer she linked with first to get those vibes, but she did the right thing.
yeah. She did a really
I'm
good.
sure, 'cause
thing.
even as a producer, like, I just be listening to shit, trying to figure out, like, yo, what's my next sound?
Good question.
It's a great question, man. And because I feel like I like there's 2 ways to go about it in the future. You either going to create the market for ourselves and celebrate our own music and not worry about trying to be internationally known and just have the outsiders come to us and be like, yo, the artists in this market are really good. Or you're really just gonna have to get out of our market and go and test your music in other places. So make a Houston inspired record and go to Houston and try to test your song over there. Even being a Toronto artist, trying to convince them I'm in love with Houston culture so much that I had to tap in. You know what I'm saying? Houston people would love that, and I feel like the states a market, like they're just more forgiving to people and accepting to people that want to come into their culture.
Hell yeah.
As opposed to replicate it and staying where they're at. Like they're gonna look at you like, yo, you rap, you're doing this, but you never even came over here to like tap in with the people. I think earlier you guys were mentioning about population and stuff. I don't think it's a population thing. I think it's a more of there's not enough people that love our music here. There's not enough people that respect our culture here. There's a lot more people in Atlanta that respect Atlanta music culture because there's more of our faces, black faces, in those spaces.
I agree.
That is the issue in terms of, you know what I'm saying, how a person can actually make it from the city. So if we don't love our culture and respect our culture and all the cultures that reside in Toronto and Vancouver and Montreal, if we all just be like, yo, we love hip hop, period, no matter where you from, because there's Punjabi rap. You know what I'm saying? There's Asian people doing music. You know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of cultures. There's Spanish people making great hip hop music. So if we're not embracing everybody culturally and saying, okay, this is our culture, hip hop is multicultural in Canada, and just go out and do tours and stuff with everybody, then we can't really capitalize on our culture here. We're always going to be...
Gonna happen. I just think that it's not going to happen here. I just think people are too close-minded. It's a crab in a bucket mentality here. If you're up and I'm not, and I don't see you with a reaching hand trying to bring me up, then I'm going to try to bring you down. And it's there's no, I can't blame one particular type of people. I think it's everybody. If you're going to put the blame on everybody. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to be successful here as an artist. You know, and then you have to worry about politics, who you're doing the record with. Do they have an issue with someone else? And if they do, then now their beef's your beef. And now it's just like, because the music's integrated with the streets. Let's not act like it's not. It is. Even though technically it's not, it's just music. And whoever you choose to do music with, that should just be what it is. But unfortunately, that's not what it is. You know what I mean? They bring the street aspect to it. So, you know what I mean? It's hard to bust as an artist in Toronto and not have problems. It's hard. You know what I mean? So
100% right.
That's why I feel like most artists just say, I'd rather go to a different market altogether, somewhere else, be successful there, and then once that goes, naturally, organically, it will trickle back to where you're from over time. Mm-hmm. And then when people find out about you, by then it's too late. You've already bust. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why I see a lot of the artists that didn't do that are not here. You know what I mean? They were at a point, they're about to get to that peak, but people from the city who had a problem with that, because the streets is intertwined, we can't see you up there. We can't see you up there and we're not there. No way. So unfortunately, this is what has to happen. You know what I mean? And then, so it's just like, as an artist, why would you even want to bust here? Why? It's not the same. Like,
is it gonna too easy?
Is it gonna equal out to paid shows? Is it gonna equal out to the right type of attention, the notoriety that comes with it? Is it gonna get you into the right doors, or is it gonna get you into problems? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
it's like, it's very iffy when you're an artist, specifically our genre.
Yeah.
Our genre, not rock, not Punjabi music, not to say they don't have their own quarrels and their own politics when they're within their own community, but our community, where our music, bro, it
stands out.
It stands out. You know what I mean? So it's tough to really want to take your music there and not expect turmoil to come with it. You know, hatred and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah, that's facts.
You know what I mean? So know what I mean? But I'm still all for still trying to be successful at the end of the day. Like, you still got to go for what you want. You just have to, take a different route to get there,
Yeah.
So, but I do agree 100% what you're saying, that the States is just, they as I was saying in the city before, it's like a community. It's a community over there, especially down south, especially Atlanta and Texas. These states alone, if you bust there,
Even
you're
Detroit.
set. You're set. You're set. You're getting paid 3 bands a show. You have a single that busts. All right, it went viral. Right, you're getting calls now. Right.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, okay, cool. You have a manager. Manager's saying, hey, you got 2 shows. You got 2 shows. You got 2 shows and an appearance this whole entire month. Okay, 2 shows for every week plus an appearance. Your shows get paid $3,000. Your appearances get paid $1,500. Right. So you show up to a club. They're going to give you a booth. They're going to give you $1,500, and for you to perform your record at the booth. Right. Okay, let's do the math on that. Right, $7,500 in a week. $7,500 off music, off one song, in a week. Times that by 4.
You're right.
That's what these artists are doing over there.
Yeah, I know.
They're making a living doing this. They're getting a hit record. The record doesn't even have to be too crazy. It's just enough to get traction in your city, in your state. So goes back to what I'm saying. The rap community, the trap community, the community as a whole, people who've lived it, people who know about the lifestyle, people who support that music. You know what I mean? They come to your shows, right? They come to autograph signings and book signings and hat signings, and you know what I mean? They're doing this stuff. They're supporting the artists.
That's facts.
You know what I mean? We don't do that here.
And I also, last thing before I stop talking, the one more thing I would say also is that we don't have enough labels either. Like, you have Type A Records, you're assigned to them. We don't have any, like, One Umbrellas or OVOs or
No.
So we don't have enough of those labels to even, like, put on artists to be like, hey, I think they're building. I've seen a lot more business savvy men and women creating their own things,
Creating their own labels,
and you know what I'm saying?
Independently.
Yep, I
and
see a
then
lot
getting
more
a bag.
coming out, but we need more. Like,
We need a lot
you know
more.
what I'm saying?
We need a lot more.
A lot more to handle the back end stuff of the artist, because a lot of the artists, they're uneducated. They don't know what the next play is. They don't know what the next move is. They don't know how to get on this and do that, right? So it's
Very
like
true.
they come into the game and it's like they're empty. You know what I'm saying? You got to fill them with knowledge so that they know what their next play is. And I guess the businesses don't understand, hey, if you pour into this artist, you know what I'm saying, you're going to get back a percentage. It's simple business, right? So I don't think a lot of people want to be business. They want to be stars. They want to be celebrities. They want to be in front of the camera. They want to be the face. We need a lot more labels out here, enough to just create the market, create the competition. You know what I'm saying? Create the culture.
Yeah. Do we have a culture?
There is a culture, yeah.
What would you consider our culture here?
The culture of Canada in hip hop, it stems from, and I hear this a lot, it stems from like the 80s.
Like Maestro Fest West?
Even before that, I heard, like, before that, they say Rumble and Strong, going into Bronx and battling KRS-One, like those type of guys. And yes, Maestro's a part of that. Ron Nelson, you know what I'm saying? Like, Mishimi, a lot of the early Dream Warriors, a lot of those guys created the culture and the footprints for guys like Cardinal, Socrates, Choclair,
Steppin'.
and then from then it was the Mayhems and the C4s and the Jet Blacks and the Lou Breeze and the Ristos and the Drakes and the Bishops, rest in peace. And then it moved on to the Hoodlums and the Sam G's and the JG's, the Cities, like, you know what I'm saying? The Heartless G's, like, and then it just kept going to Boogs and Killy and Smiley. and then it goes to Sav and Push Keys and all the newer artists.
Right.
So it's like there is a culture, but nobody is saying, hey, let me make a documentary to like really tell you guys how this shit in the city started to where it is now.
Right.
So there's lack of
So
education
we gonna
on
do
the
that?
culture itself. I would love to do that I would love to, but
Because, yo,
that's a lot of hard work, you know.
I mean, shit.
It's a good idea.
I'm not sure how we're gonna start, but we could start somewhere.
It got to start somewhere still. Like it starts with just interviews on what the culture is. I think that is what the main basis of that particular doc should be. Like, what is the Canadian hip hop
Yo,
culture?
that would be a docu-series. It wouldn't even be like a movie. That got to be a series broken out into episodes.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
It's not you wouldn't have enough time to be able to break down the entire story in a couple hours. You need like several takes of several different people's, because everybody has different, perception or perspective on how, whatever their impact was towards the game or how they seen things, you know what I mean? So obviously the game's evolved. Like it's evolved from where it was, boom bap hip hop, you know what I mean? Like hardcore hip hop to, to like trap now. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So trap is like the new rap right now. You listen to most records, it's just trap production. You
Even
know
the
what I mean?
pop records.
Yeah,
that
even
sounded
the pop,
very
exactly,
trappy.
exactly, very
Yeah.
trappy, right? So, yeah, I think a docuseries would be dope if it's done right.
If it's done right, yeah.
If it's done right,
I agree.
but I'm surprised it hasn't been done yet.
Nobody cares enough. That's the problem. Nobody cares enough. But I'm pretty sure
Oh,
it's either that or I think people do care,
yeah,
but not enough. Like I said, like just think about all the people you need to sit and talk with. That's hours of footage.
yeah, it's a lot of people.
Just talking to people about their story and the culture of our music. You have to talk to. There's like pinnacle guys you need to talk to. They need to be available.
Absolutely.
It might cost even some money to even get them on camera. And then there's the guys that move the needle that you don't know about. And you would want to have not just the artists, you want to have the producers, you want to have the managers. So there's 3 levels. And then the labels that were around. There were labels around from then to now. So it's like you need to have everybody's situation, like everybody's conversation.
Even with the labels, like, I believe, I mean, it's my own opinion, but I believe just in general, when a label decides to bring on an artist, that's an investment, right? And they're going to want to do everything in their power to make sure that their investment has everything that's needed, access to everything, all of their connections, in order to get back money off them, what they invested into them. Promotional dollars and promotional campaign and videos and recording, all that costs money.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So if you get $250,000 deal, right? And a lot of that money is going to pushing your records that you're going to put out, and your videos and your campaign of your promotion and so on and so forth, right? And this company's taking a big risk on you. Okay? So most of the time, it don't work out. And they're not able to recoup their money. Now you're in arrears. Now you owe money. Right?
Yeah.
And people don't understand what deals like. When you get a deal like of if it doesn't state this portion of your deal is yours to keep, you're gonna pay it back. You know what I mean? It's a loan, right? So so I say that to say this. Why would huge labels that do have the money, right, look at the landscape of artists, and not just in the States, but here too, right? And see what's going on in the street, see what's going on and how they entangle. Are we willing to invest? in someone who potentially could not be here next year? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So as a label head or as a CEO or as somebody who's got a bag, right? And you're investing into this person because you want to recoup, you want to make money. At the end of the day, it's all about making money. It's a business. We have, like, people have to remember the music business is a business first before anything else. Even before the talent and anything else, it's about making money. And so as a huge label, you're going to invest into somebody, you're hoping to recoup.
That's right.
So if you see these particular people, they have talent, but they don't have the work ethic.
Fact.
They can't stay locked in to the studio and finish an album and do a press run and do this and do that, which is what requires to be an artist in the first place. You have to be able to do this. You have to be coachable.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are not coachable.
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't even want to hear you talk about nothing. Where's my check? Where's my money? Right? I want to, go rent a nice car. I want to, do this and do that. But like, it's like, why me? I'm thinking in them. I always think from a perspective of business. So I'm thinking I'm in the shoes of a huge, corporation that, or people who sign other people, a huge label like Universal, right? Universal's looking at different artists. They want to know if they can recoup their paper first and foremost. Can we make money off this guy? How long is this guy going to stay out of prison for? You know what I'm saying? So is he in a gang? Does he have gang ties? These things that we need to know. We're about to put a bag on this guy. Does he have prior situation with other artists in the industry? Who are they? We need to know. You know what I mean? So all these questions come up when they're going to sign a particular individual, right? And most of the time, those things get ticked off. It's very rare where you find somebody who's not in the mix, really talented, work ethic, who they can sign and they're going to recoup. What's the percentage? The percentage is what you see.
Yeah.
It's the main artist that busts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
majority of those people are from states.
Yeah.
Right? You have your odd person from here who get that, right? And they put the time in, they put the effort in, they put the projects out, they've stayed out of trouble, they did everything they need to do. So now the reason why I'm saying all this is I'm going back to what you said about labels in general not being here in our city and why, okay, they're not being here in the first place, but on top of that, they're not willing to spend any money. They're not willing to invest into anybody. And that I believe that's the reason why, is because we're wild as fuck out here. The guys that are really talented are still in the street, right?
Facts.
So how the fuck am I going to sign you? You know what I mean? I sign you, and here's a perfect example. Top 5 situation that happened. Academics signed him to $5 million. He gave him a $5 million deal. $5 million deal. And 2 weeks later, or something like that,
straight to lawyer fees.
he's in prison.
Crazy.
He got locked up. And then he was hemmed up for a while, like at least a month before they let him go. And then I don't know the man's situation, so I can't speak on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just know what I've seen. And that's just an example I'm giving you of somebody who's been signed to somebody else who has a bag, and then this happens. And this seems to be the case all the time for artists just like us, coming up. Like, I'm sure people do want to put down the money. Like, yo, we believe that you can make us some money. We believe you can be the next star. We believe you can bust. And then they're like, but,
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, that's why I think it's in our genre and our culture, it's just not going to happen. In rock, in pop, in R&B, maybe. Yeah, for sure. 100%. You don't hear a rock band, people in a rock band or people in different culture and music. You don't really hear stuff about them like that. Getting into shootings and like, you know what I mean? Just wild shit. Like you just don't really hear that. So they're willing to spend money on those guys.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I just think it's unfortunate. That's what I'm saying. It's unfortunate.
it is.
It's unfortunate that we don't have labels willing to drop money on us. But I can see why they don't. I can see why they're hesitant not to, because they feel they're not going to recoup
Yeah.
what they've put in.
No, yeah.
And as a business-minded person, I would feel that way too.
No, me too.
You know what I mean? Who wants to drop $500,000 on an artist with a $100,000 signing bonus and a $100,000 advance? Okay, you get an advance, and here's your money, and we're going to use this towards your videos, towards your recording, everything. A month later, you're nowhere to be found.
Yeah, that's facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. Sucks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate for sure. Yeah, that's just my take on it, anyways. Hopefully things change. I'd love to see things change. I'd love to see more camaraderie within the community here in this city. I'd love to see it. The talent's there. We have very, very talented artists here. I'm not saying there's not good artists here, because there is good artists here. But if there's no platforms for them to showcase their abilities in a way where they can get that support, it's going to be tough for people to make a living in music, like actually making money doing this. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough, you know? That's why guys always resort to other things, because it's difficult to make money in music here. You know, getting a paid show, it's tough.
Especially a lot of them be getting their shows shut down because of street shit. The police be shutting that shit down.
That's what I'm saying. Everything intertwines.
Yo, that's like when I did Crody Fest back in the day. The boy them was up in that bitch for like the first hour. Like they didn't shut it down, but they was trying to intimidate the situation, you know?
Even when States artists come here and do shows, like at the Phoenix, it's like it's heavily secured. There's like a lot of security there. Is that for the artist, or is that for the people that are there? Or both?
Good question.
You know? And it's just, I don't know. It's a wild scene here, man. It's a wild scene in the city. Just don't get me wrong. I love Toronto, man. Toronto's my city. I was really raised and born here, bro. So I have nothing bad to say about the city. It's just the people in it. We need to fix up as a whole. You know what I mean? Not one individual person. I mean, everybody.